Hey guys, Bobby Hughes here with the Heritage Pride Urban Homestead. I'm in the greenhouse and I'm back to bring you guys a kind of a mini series within a series, and of course our subject is aquaponics, but what we're going to be talking about in these next few videos, specifically in our aquaponics series, is vertical gardening. Vertical growing. Now, vertical gardening is not anything new. It's been out for centuries. But the idea of vertical gardening is to grow up as opposed to growing across. So for us urban homesteaders or small-scale gardeners, vertical growing is basically the way of the future. I believe commercially vertical gardening is also going to become more and more popular with the forcefulness of Monsanto and GMO crops. The sheeple don't really care what they eat, but the people who are actually dialed in and care about our future and our children's future and the future of America and so on and so forth, we have a different idea of what our food should be made of or what it shouldn't be made of. So anyway, on a commercial scale, I think you know, at this point in time, you don't see a lot of new farmers going out and buying land and breaking ground and farming. Most of the farmers we have are you know, family heirs to the farm. They did it because their daddy did it, because their granddaddy did it, and so on and so forth. For me to go out and buy a huge piece of property and grow 100 acres worth of crop, it would be impossible. I don't have the funds, I don't have the money to do so. So if one wanted to get into commercial growing organically on a small scale, then vertical gardening would be the way to go. Like I said, vertical gardening is growing up, not across. So for, like I said, for us small scale growers, it's ideal because now you're working with cubic footage as opposed to square footage. So let's say your greenhouse or your grow room or your basement or whatever that you're using is 8 feet, or I'm sorry, a 10 foot by 10 foot room, and it's got 8 foot walls. Well, a 10 foot by 10 foot room is 100 square feet. So in square foot gardening theory, that would be 1 plant per square foot. That's 100 plants that you can grow in a 100 square foot area. That's if the entire area was there. With vertical gardening, you get to take advantage of every cubic foot. So in an 8 foot tall room, you've got 800, in a 10 by 10 by 8 foot tall room, you got 800 cubic feet. So 800 cubic feet, now 1 plant per cubic foot would be 800 plants in the same amount of space. So you really, you know, multiply your ability to grow. Your yield is going to multiply exponentially based on vertical gardening. So now that we've established what vertical gardening is, let's talk about vertical gardening a little bit. So there's several different options out there for vertical gardening. You can just look on Google or YouTube or anything for that matter and see that there are a lot of open sourced entrepreneurs, creators, inventors, people with, you know, a real grasp on different ideas, some good and some not so good, but there's tons of information out there on vertical gardening. We're going to start, like I said, we're going to start growing vertically on some experiments here in the greenhouse, and to do so, we've done away with our rail system that we built. We had to get rid of the rail system to make room for where our vertical towers are going to be. So here's a kind of an overview of the changes that we've made in preparation for the vertical growing. And if you guys have seen the other videos, you know this is where the rail system used to be, and now it's all out. While I had the system out, I made a few modifications in preparation for winter. I am going to have to insulate our foundation of the greenhouse. And so since I had this system out, it was much easier to access everything. And I just put some 1/2-inch Owens Corning polyfoam panels on the walls. And those are rated at an R30 value, which is excellent for a 1/2-inch foam panel. So anyway, just popped those on the walls, caulked up the cracks, and then put a little piece of trim around the top to keep this foam from flaking off on the top. And then just remounted our electrical there, and that's pretty much it. As far as preparation for the grow towers goes, if you guys have seen the greenhouse video, you know I have like this suspension bar that runs from front to back on both sides, and that is basically just there. I was using that just to kind of, I could tie plants up on it like over here, or you know, use it to mount my brackets across, so on and so forth. The problem is that like on this one over here in the center here, it's got quite a bit of flex, so it's not real sturdy. So I don't feel like that would be a good way to hang my towers from. So on this side, what I did was just created a post that goes from our foundation down there, comes up, and then I just ran the bar through it. So now it's good and sturdy. So it's not going to go anywhere now. At this time, I'm not going to actually hang towers from this bar. But I did go ahead and shore this one up, so in the future if I wanted to add towers to it, I could. But I want to, back to saving space, I want to get the towers back closer to the back wall back here so that I'm saving space. So what I did, now I'll have to make my towers a little bit shorter for the back one, but you know, we're still going to come out better in the amount of plants that we can grow vertically across here than what I had growing horizontally across the rail system, even with making shorter towers. The only downfall is I have to build more towers because they're shorter. But anyway, so I just placed I popped a board up here, drilled a hole in it, set another piece of 1.25" EMT conduit in it, came over here, did the same thing as I did on this one. Just created a stand, just a 2x4, drilled a hole 3/4 of the way through it, put a bar in there, put the level on it, you know, lifted it up, screwed it to the foundation down here, and now we've got a bar to hang our towers from. So that was the first step in the process, getting the bar to hang the towers. And then also we had to work on the drain system. Now, you know, if you remember, we had a sump tank right here. I filled all that in, covered it over, and then we started working on our drain system so that we can put this whole thing on the aquaponics system. So down at the bottom, and I'll touch on this real briefly, in some of the systems that I've seen for vertical growing, they're using open gutters, like rain gutters, and they'll set the rain gutter down there and then just set their grow tower down in it. The water will trickle through the tower into the gutter, and then the gutter will carry the water back to the sump tank. The problem with that is it's an open trough, so that allows bugs to get in there. It allows for evaporation, massive amounts of evaporation, and also heat exchange. So in mine, what I'll do is on the bottom of our towers, we'll have a little piece of pipe, a nipple comes out. We'll drill a hole in the top of the 4-inch Schedule 20 pipe here, and then the tower can just set, the little down pipe will just set right in that hole, and then the water will trickle through and out the 1/2-inch pipe into the 4-inch pipe, and then drains back to the sump tank. And just to show you the plumbing a little bit here, So there's the pipe. It comes over and turns and then goes down into the sump tank. And then there's also another 2-inch pipe there that is the return for the filtration system on the aquaponics system. And then also that PEX line there is water supply to the moving bed filter for a Venturi that is still not working properly. So anyway, so yeah, so that's the changes that I've made so far. This pipe's really not hooked up per se, it's just kind of sitting in here. I just went ahead and cut it and set it in to get it out of the way. And then, like I said, we got the rails up here. So yeah, that's pretty much all the modifications we've made at this point. And then once we get all finished up, I'm going to take some of these decking boards and go ahead and put across here and create a little bit more working bench space. I'll do another video on it, but I am working on kind of creating a backup air and water system for the aquaponics system in the event of a power outage. And so I'll probably move my little organizer drawers over here and then build me a box back here in the back for that backup system. Alright, so now you can see that the space where we had the rail systems versus how we're going to install the grow towers now, how much more space I can utilize within my greenhouse and really multiply the yield on the crops that I have. So in the coming videos of this mini-series, I'm going to be showing you guys how I'm going to build my grow towers. I am stealing parts of ideas from different people and different things that I've sourced via YouTube and reading and things like that. One thing I really want to talk about is the availability of I guess aftermarket pre-made gardening products. There are a lot of companies out there that make products for you to buy and use, basically turnkey products. You can purchase them, install them, and they're ready to go without, with minimal work. Usually the problem that comes with that is the cost that's associated with it. The turnkey products are usually pretty expensive. There's a company called Bright Agrotech, and they have designed a vertical grow tower called the Zipgrow System. And in theory, it's a great system, but there are a lot of downfalls in it that I see. And I'm not picking on Bright Agrotech or anyone for that matter. Just some basic common things. I've never used one, but I'm just looking at the picture of it and how it works via their videos and things like that. And there are a few things that I can see that are kind of lacking in it. And I'm not super experienced in this, but just some things that I've already dealt with that I could see really being an issue. So their grow towers are basically a 4-inch by 4-inch by whatever length you want vinyl or polyvinyl post sleeve, like for decking. And they've cut a slit down the front of it, and you have to have a special tool to like pull the grow media into the sleeve. And then you plug your water in at the top and it runs through and it drains out the bottom. And then you just put your plants into the grow medium in that slit. Now I don't know how good a job I did explaining that to you, but if you want to check it out, just search for Bright Agrotech or the Zipgrow System and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. A couple of the things that I want to point out that I feel like would probably be a problem with the system is heat exchange. So based on experience from the rail system that I had, the water temperature was really hard to maintain. you know, of course in the greenhouse it's a lot hotter than it is in the open air. But that one, polyvinyl chloride, which is what PVC is made out of, is probably one of the worst insulators in plumbing. If the water's hot, it dissipates the heat. If the water's cold and the air is hot, it absorbs the heat from the outside and warms the water. So it's really a poor insulator, to say the least. But then when you open up a section of that, it loses its what little bit of thermal insulation value it has, probably tenfold. Anytime you introduce air movement or exposed areas into it, it's going to lose. It's like opening up a big wall in your house, or knocking a window out in the middle of the summer or winter and trying to run your air conditioner or your heat and keep up with the outside temperature coming in. Same concept. The second thing that I see is evaporation rates. Same theory or same concept. When you open up a section to air movement, then you get air moving across it, you get evaporation. Alright? If you have water that trickles down it, then you're going to have evaporation. If it's warm out, it's going to absorb the moisture, just the same as anything with evaporation. It's just, you know, the nature of it. That's just how it's going to be. So that you know, I could see that really being a problem as well. And then I guess lastly, just the you know, and maybe I'm being a little picky here, but just the idea that I have to take the tower down and I have to use a special tool and pull that media with a special tool into that tower and then remount my tower and hook my plumbing and stuff back up. That seems like kind of a hassle too. So, like I said, I'm not picking on Bright Agritech. The guys there, the people that work there, they're great people, as far as I can tell. You know, I've learned a lot from their videos. The guy's got a doctorate in agriculture, I guess. Something, maybe organic chemistry, I don't know. He's got a doctorate in something, and he's super smart. And a lot of times it's over my head, but you know, I've used their information, the information they put out, a lot to learn about aquaponics. So I'm not dissing them or talking bad about them. I'm just pointing out a few things that I feel like would be a flaw in the system that I don't really want to deal with. So in the idea of open sourcing, we look at something and figure out how to make it better. And so there's another guy on YouTube, Gunner Schaefer or Schaefer Gunner, I can't remember. I'll put a link in the in my description box below to his channel. He for a high school project, he made some grow towers out of PVC, and I think it was 4-inch Schedule 20 PVC pipe, and that's how I'm going to mock my towers after. And you'll see those in the upcoming videos, or if you go check out his videos. Like I said, a couple of things that I noticed in his that may be a little bit off are the spacing of the neck cups. I think that they are a little bit too close together. But in theory, I think it'll definitely work better in combating heat exchange and evaporation. So that's why I'm going with that one. Plus I don't have to take the tower down to change out grow media or anything like that. So that's pretty neat as well. But anyway, I think I've hit pretty much everything I wanted to on that subject for this video. But I just wanted to, you know, kind of give you kind of an understanding of where I'm going with the next few videos for the grow towers. So I'm sure as we go along with this build, I will be able to point out a few other things that maybe I didn't talk about in this video. But for the sake of not boring you to death and continuing this video on and on and on, I think I'll call it quits for this one. So anyway, don't forget to check out the suggested videos in the little link up top here, over here in the corner somewhere. Check those out. You can go back and check out our aquaponics build. Also, you can check out our hydroponic rail system build. The videos are going to remain up for that, even though I'm not using the rail system anymore. I had the rail system for a little while, ran one basic run through it, and you'll see the headaches that I dealt with in the beginning. But overall, I would do it again. Just don't have the space and need to be more space conservative, I guess. So that's why we're switching it up. Also, if you're not subscribed, check out our, click on the little box down here in the corner, right over there. That'll take you back to our channel. You can check out our other videos and stuff, and consider subscribing. So anyway, if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, pop them in the comment section below. Don't forget to check out Bright Agrotech, and as well as Gunner Schaefer and his ideas, and you'll kind of see where I'm going over the next few videos. So anyway, guys, until next time, get out there to shoot some guns, be safe, and most importantly, have fun. See you guys later.